Microsoft just published the biggest study on AI and work in 2026. 20,000 workers, 10 countries, trillions of data points. And the number one finding, the headline of the whole thing, is something I've been telling CEOs for 2 years. The problem with AI isn't the AI, it's you. Let me explain that a little bit so I can give a little context. See, my name is Brett Sklar. I'm an enterprise futurist, and I've spoken with over 1,800 CEOs and business leaders over the last 2 years. I'm a keynote speaker on transformation, specifically on who owns tomorrow. I'm author of the book AI Without the BS, the CEO's Playbook for Actually Getting AI Right. And I'm glad to be here with you. So let me just set this up for you a little bit so it helps fill in some blanks. I've had conversations with over 1,800 CEOs in the last 2 years. I'm not exaggerating when I say that almost every single one of those at some point has landed in the exact same place. They say some version of this. Brett, we bought the tools, we hired the consultants, we launched the pilots, and nothing is working. So what are we doing wrong? What is it you can prove to us that we're doing wrong so we can do it right? And my answer is pretty much almost always the same thing. Not always. Your technology is probably fine. It's your organization that needs to be rewired. And that's the whole thesis of my book, AI Without the BS. It's the biggest barrier to AI transformation that isn't the AI. It's leadership, culture, systems you've built around your people, the incentives, the way that you measure the success. All of that stuff comes together to get in the way of the technology. CEOs tend to say, we're going to let our IT department handle this. And that is a kiss of death. It sets them up for failure, and it sets your organization up for failure. And this month, May of 2026, Microsoft dropped their annual Work Trend Index. I'm not going to lie to you. When I read it, I had one of those moments where I was like, aha, it's not just me. I'm not the only one preaching all of this. Because here's what they found. The single biggest predictor of whether AI actually works in your company, it's not the model, it's not the budget, it's now not even how good your people actually are with the tools. It's your organizational culture, your manager behavior, your talent practices, the human systems around the AI. It's not the AI, it's you. And it's not even close. Organizational factors account for more than double of the impact of the individual skill. And I didn't even plant that data, but I'm not going to pretend I'm surprised by it either. I've seen this, I've heard this, I've experienced this. The report has a concept they call the transformation paradox, which sounds pretty fancy, but it's worth understanding because it explains why so many companies feel stuck right now. Here's what it means. Your employees, they're ready. They want to use AI. They want to reinvent how they work, but your systems won't let them. 65%, almost 2/3 of AI users are afraid of falling behind if they don't move fast. But 45% of those say it actually feels safer to just focus on their current goals than to try redesigning their work. And here's the kicker. Only 13% say that they're rewarded for reinventing work with AI. Only 13% are incentivized to start thinking bigger, start thinking faster, start thinking stronger. So you've got the people who want to change. They're not afraid of the change, but the systems around it all, the metrics, the incentives, and the way you promote people, the way you elevate performance is still rewarding the old way of doing things. That's the BS. I know a thing or two about BS because my name is Brett Sklar. That's what I wrote the whole book about, not the AI hype, not the vendor pitches. It's the organizational dysfunction. It makes it impossible for good technology to actually land. This is a transformation moment. This is not an AI moment. Microsoft called it the transformation paradox. I called it AI without the BS. It's the same thing. I just used more movie quotes in my book. In the book, I introduce a framework called ROAI, or Return on AI. And the formula is dead simple. Technology capability times the human judgment. It's multiplication, not addition, which means if one side is 0, the whole thing is zero. You can have a 10 out of 10 on the technology side, the best models, the best tools, the biggest budget. But if your people don't trust it, if your culture is fighting it, and if your judgment about where and how to deploy is wrong, 10 times zero is still zero. Microsoft essentially ran this equation across 20,000 people. They tested 29 different factors, and the top 3 predictors of whether AI is actually delivering value, all organizational: culture, talent practices, and manager support. It's not that difficult. It's those 3 things: culture, talent, and manager support. The technology is the left side of the equation. Everybody's been investing there. But the right side, the human multiplier, that's where the value is hiding. And almost nobody is investing there. And that's your opportunity. So here's the most actionable thing in that entire report. If you take one thing away from the video, make it this. When managers actively model AI use, when they use the tools visibly, they share what they're learning, they set quality standards for AI-assisted work, their teams report a 17-point lift in AI value, 17 points, a 22-point lift in critical thinking about their AI use, and a 30-point lift in trust in agentic AI. 30 points just from the manager showing up differently. Not a training program, not a mandate from the top, not a new platform, just bosses using the tools and making it safe for everyone else to do the same. I tell a story in my book about 2 CEOs, one who rolled out 12 AI tools in 6 months and nearly lost half his floor supervisors because nobody told them why. And another who deployed a single tool so thoughtfully that 6 months later, her teams were begging for more. Same technology available to both of them. Completely different outcomes. The difference was leadership behavior. The difference was the multiplier. And now we've got 20,000 data points that prove it. One more thing from this report that I think is pretty critical. They asked workers, as Aon takes on more of the work, which human skills matter the most? And the top 2 answers were quality control of AI output and critical thinking. In other words, judgment. The report says it explicitly. AI is putting a premium on judgment. Intelligence is a commodity now. You can buy it by the API call. You can buy it by the token. But knowing what to ask, when to deploy, where to hold back, how to bring your people along, that's human judgment. That's the scarce resource. And it's been the scarce resource in every era of disruption, not just this one. The best AI users in the study, they call them frontier professionals. They actually do some of their work without AI on purpose to keep their skills sharp. They pause before they start a task to decide what should be done by AI and what should be done by a human. And that's not anti-technology. That is the use of judgment. And the data says it's the differentiator. So look, I've been asking CEOs a question for 2 years. Who owns tomorrow? And there are 3 candidates to answer in that question. And I asked this question of who owns tomorrow because I want to challenge people to not be afraid that they have no control. So there's 3 options for who owns tomorrow. The platforms that are building the tools, the AI agents that are running them, or you. The leader who picks up the pen, writes the script for your own company, your own team, and your own future. Microsoft just arrived at the same place from a completely different direction. Their conclusion, and I'm paraphrasing this, is that the opportunity is to build organizations where human judgment stays at the center of the work that matters. It's not technology strategy. It's not bright, shiny objects. It's not some science fair project. It's leadership strategy. And that's AI without the BS. So if this resonated, the book is called AI Without the BS, the CEO's Playbook for Actually Getting AI Right. Everything we talked about today is in there, plus the frameworks and the checklists you can use to put it to work for your team. And there's a link in the description. I'll also put a link to the Microsoft article in the description as well. And if you're running an event where your audience needs to hear this, not from a report, but from a stage, that's what I do. Check me out at brettsklar.com and let's talk. I'll see you on the next one.